Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412, and today we're going to be looking at this early slate on Saturday. We're going to have another video out for the main slate. Meg Brewer's got that one covered, so make sure you check that one out as well. And before we get started, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, drop a comment below. It really does help us out at providing all this free content for you guys all throughout the season. Early slates, main slates, all of that. So let's just dive right in here. Weather, always pay attention to the weather. COVID, make sure you're paying attention to COVID. We had some scares with teams last night, with Boston, with Philly. So it made things a little bit hectic, but it did open up some value for us. So we'll start with the pitchers. Obviously, you can go through the bats and be on our way. So Frankie Montas, right up at the top, 9.3K. There's no like super expensive pitching option on this slate. So I don't think salaries are going to be too much of an issue, at least in some of the builds that I was doing. But Montas, we know what his strikeouts, they've been really great lately. He's not allowing earned runs really at all. You can kind of scroll through. He's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in 10 straight starts. So he's in great form, but he's going up against the Yankees. They're on I think it's 13 straight wins right now. They've been hot. So a little pause on that, but if you land on Montas, no issues with that. He has the K upside. He can limit some damage. So he's a solid pick. Gibson, 9K. Of the top, like, 4 pitchers, he's probably my least favorite of the 4. Just kind of inconsistent on the season. He can have command issues with the walks. His K rate just isn't anywhere near what the other guys can be. So Gibson, even though he isn't a better matchup than the other top 4, I'm talking about Montas, Gibson, Manoa, and Gutierrez. Even though he's in a better matchup, I just don't think it's the right play here. Manoa, 8.7K, probably probably my favorite play on this slate. We all know what his ceiling can be. His ceiling is in the 30s and beyond that. He can have some dud games. He does get tossed around at times, a couple times this season, but he does have a favorable matchup going up against Detroit. They do strike out quite a bit. They were really hot right after the All-Star break. They kind of cooled down a little bit, but still, Manoa, we know what his ceiling can be, 8.7K. I think he's a fine option. Gutierrez, speaking about guys in great form, Gutierrez is one of those guys, 8.5K, going up against a fantastic matchup against Miami in a pitcher's ballpark. Solid K rate, low walks. You can kind of see his form looking through here, 31. He's in the 20s, he's in the 30s. He's doing really well. And he just played the same Miami team just earlier this week, and he put up 31 points. So I think that Gutierrez, another great option. You can see they're all very affordable. You're not going to have too much value issue with the bats. So Montas, Manoa, and Gutierrez, you're going to pick one of those 3. Probably both, or probably 2 of those 3 in your cash builds. Because after that, I do think there is a pretty steep decline. Quantrill going up against Boston. Boston really struggled last night. And I don't know if it was like they had the COVID issues with Kiki Hernandez, and can't remember the other guy off the top of my head. And like they got their lineup out like 9 minutes before lock of the slate and game time. I don't know if it was in their heads and they're just really struggling. But I mean, Logan Allen looked amazing against them. He pitched like 5 innings, 1 hit. So who knows? Maybe he's a great GPP flyer for you. But on the other side of that game, you got Eovaldi going up against Cleveland. He's fine. Like I'm not going to say he's a bad play. If this is where you land in your builds, fantastic. He's going up against Cleveland. They had been hitting the ball better as of late, but still, if like Reyes or Ramirez have one of their down games, there's not much else in the offense for them. I mean, you got Straw up at the top doing amazingly well recently, but still, overall, if Ramirez or Reyes, have a down game, Eovaldi's probably going to have a really nice game here at 8.1K. And he's got a pretty nice discount from where he was. Alcantara going up against Cincinnati, that's going to be a tough matchup regardless. Anderson's going against KC. It's a nice matchup. He's had a decent-ish floor, but still, he's within what, 7.2? Yeah, he's within 1,300 of a guy like Gutierrez. I'd rather just find some value in the bats and move up there. I mean, I don't think salary is going to be an issue for you. I don't think you're going to have to go down here too much. Cortez, he could be popular tonight. If people don't want to pay with the top two guys, I mean, 7K for a guy with his kind of stuff, his strikeout upside, you can kind of see he can go 100 plus pitches. They're not holding him back. Oakland can be a difficult matchup, but still, I think Cortez could be a very popular play. So if you want to leverage yourself in GPPs, doing a nice Oakland stack is definitely the way to go. But still, 7K, Cortez, solid spot on the slate. And then everybody else, it's just kind of not too interested in. Lynch, Mejia. I think Mejia, they finally put into I think this is the guy they didn't even have in the player pool last time out. But he had nice K rates down in the minors against Philly. We'll see. But really, I'm kind of sticking towards the top. Montas, Manoa, Gutierrez. And then if you land on like Eovaldi or Cortez, they're good plays too. Nothing wrong with them. Everybody else I'd kind of stay clear of. So looking towards the bats, Toronto, they're going to be your top bats of the day. Going up against Urania, who's pitching off, and then I think it's Alexander coming in for long relief. And these bats have gotten some serious pricing discounts over the past couple of days. I remember when you had Guerrero was over 6K, you had Semien and Bichette that were both like 5.7, 5.8K. Hernandez was in the mid fives. So they've gotten a serious decline in their salaries, making them even more affordable. And like I mentioned, with pitchers are very affordable. Let's just throw in like two guys here. We'll throw in Gutierrez, we'll throw on Manoa, just so we can kind of have a gauge on where we are with salary. But still, going up against Urania, I mean, lefties, righties, doesn't matter. He's only going to be in for maybe 2 innings because I think he's just pitching the opener. And then Alexander comes in. So, I mean, really anybody in this lineup, I think is going to be a solid matchup. I mean, Dickerson, he's been great value. He got a decrease from yesterday. He was 3-1 yesterday. Now he's only 2-8. But if he can get that lefty-righty matchup, and he's hitting in the heart of the order, which he has been in that 5 spot, I think he's a great value on you for the day. But, throw in Semien, throw in Dickerson. Let's just throw in Vlad and kind of see where we're at. We're still at close to 4K remaining, and we have 2 of the top pitchers on the slate. So salary is not going to be any issue for you at all. So Toronto, they're going to be your top bats on the day. Next up, we'll go. I mean, Boston's going to be another top team just because it's Boston, but still. Okay, I'm on outfield. That's why. Kike was Renfroe the other guy who was on COVID. He might have been. But still. So with their issues yesterday, we saw Munoz min price leading off for this Boston offense. He went 0 for 4 yesterday, didn't do very well. Maybe he gets another spot at it today. I mean, if he does, 2K, it can really open things up. But again, I don't think salary is too much of an issue. But if you really want to like load up the absolute stud bats, throwing him in, I don't have an issue with it. Just because if he gets on base, whoever's hitting behind him, more than capable of driving him in. So Boston, nice, solid team there. And then Philadelphia is probably your third best team going up against Mejia. Mejia, he does have some strikeout stuff, but still, I don't think he's cut out for the majors just yet. In Philly, they do have some pop. 6.7K on Harper, though. I somehow missed this in my initial research. Holy cow. 6.7K for Harper. They won't. I was like, are we ever going to see a 7K batter? That would just be absurd. But I mean, he's been hitting the ball well. He's in that lefty-righty matchup. Small ballpark. We'll see. I don't think I can do it, though. I don't think I can do it. All right. So those are kind of like your top 3 offenses. I mentioned Oakland could be a great leverage stack for you, with Cortez probably being a popular pitcher down at 7K. So if you want to go with Oakland and you want to go with the righties, I mean, Marquet's been doing very well lately. Olsen actually hits lefties as a left-handed batter, he actually hits lefties better than he hits the right-handed pitching. So Olsen, you can throw him in your stack there as well. I mean, Ian Gomes, I'm always a fan of Ian Gomes. Who isn't a fan of Ian Gomes? So, you know, Harrison, they got some solid right-handed bats in this lineup. So I do think Oakland could be a nice leverage spot in GPPs for sure. Yankees, they're a hot team. Seattle and KC, they're always cheap. Seattle could be a nice spot going up against Lynch. I think Seager is, I think I saw he's like leading the AL in home runs since the All-Star break. So he's been on a tear. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 4 in the past 10 games. So he's been doing really well. Going through the games here. Talked about Philly, Arizona's cheap, Cincinnati, Miami, GPP. Not too thrilled about this game here. And then Toronto, we don't know what Toronto about, and Detroit. So that kind of covers things. Cleveland's also in our cheap matchup. Eovaldi could be in our popular place. It could be a nice leverage spot as well for you. But yeah, I don't think salary is going to be an issue on this slate. There's lots of pitching options, lots of batting options that are good. So as always, good luck in your contests, and we will see you in the next video.